my theory at European audiences is they are better and easier to play. And the reason why I think they're easier to play is the demographics are self-selecting better comedy goers. So if you do take our average shows in the UK, which are not top secret, they are going to Milton Keynes to the Arts Centre to do 20 minutes on their bi-monthly gig. They're people who comedy's not necessarily their thing, and they've got an abundance of other options, right? Here, when you've got a friendship group of 4 or 5 people where English is the lingua franca, and the demographic is squished. They're not people that are under the age of 18 and people that are over the age of 40. They tend to be this kind of expat, young professional, got money.
Not that over 40 is bad, by the way.
It's not bad, but it's something to be ashamed of.
Yeah, thank you.
But so what I think is when you think about the audiences that come to the clubhouse in Barcelona, to these clubs in Paris, they tend to be people who are, in my opinion, just slightly more engaged with the world, right? Because necessarily they've all travelled, they've all had a bit of a struggle. I admire anyone that's living in a different country. It's really hard, which means that these are people who just have to live life where they notice more things. Therefore, our job as comedians is noticing things and articulating it in a way that they appreciate. They're going to enjoy our work more.
Yeah, and I also think that that's even an audience that's not sort of recognized by the world, which is this insanely multicultural groups of friends that are we all live in Barcelona, we've met, and everyone's different nationalities. And my partner and my friend's partner, they're of different, so all of a sudden you're in a table and there's 4 or 5 different nationalities. We're all going to go to see a show. Yeah, we're all going to go see a show together, and we're all going to be able to enjoy a comedian together. That's totally different than a group of Americans going to see an American comedian or a group of British people going to see British comedy, because that's not necessarily representative of
100%
of their culture now, of our cultures. I don't watch television from Portugal. I have no idea what's going on. I'll watch sort of international stuff. I'll watch streaming or...
I also think the audiences here expect to be challenged more.
Yeah.
Like in the UK, I can imagine there's a club in Bristol where I play where there are just certain topics where the audience are we don't even want to hear about this, right? Whereas here, I reckon, even an audience here in a liberal city would listen to a comic talk about why Trump winning was a good thing, right? Because they're just the kind of people who are just used to being surrounded by difference and challenge to their status quo.
Yeah. And also, I think language, when you speak different languages, right, your brain ends up thinking in different ways, right? This is something that I talk about a lot in my stand-up, and I think that those people relate to that because their day-to-day is that. They're I speak to my girlfriend in one language, I speak to my friend in a different language, I speak to my parents in another language, and I speak another language at work, but maybe I don't speak all of them perfectly, but it's just all a sort of a mix mash, right? And so I think now that is that's the future of where globalization, because we travel so much easier than our parents and any other generation. We live anywhere we want. We're not attached. People now are I don't even want to I don't want to ever live a winter anymore.
Yeah.
That would be a choice.
I know, we've got the privilege of crows.
Yeah. Yeah. People just go, I'm going to go live in South America.
But you are right. I make the choice. I'm I don't like the winter in the UK. Therefore, I go to Perth every January. That's a professional decision based on the climate.
Yeah, exactly.
Same as when I was living in Japan.